Welcome one and all to the K5 experience, and in this episode we're going to be checking out some luminosity. Join me while we check out these. So what have we got here? We've got a 3-pack of the Series 4 limited edition cars. I've only seen them in 3-packs. These come in Morrison's. I'm going to try and review all 6 of them very quickly for you. So let's have a look and see what you get. Nicely packaged. All 3 of them are premium models, as you can tell by the opening parts. So we've got ourselves a rather nice Challenger. Of course, this was available in green. And it was in green. Oh, that's a lovely one. Yeah, that's my favourite green one with those wheels. We also have the green regular issue premium model and the green in racing, and this one in rather scrumdiddly purple. Of course, it has opening doors, as you know, and the luminous parts on it appear to be the base and the wheels, and I do like that colour. Very cool. SRT Hellcat Extreme, very nice. It is the Hellcat. This is probably the nicest one actually out of all of them in some ways. I mean, they're all pretty good actually. Surprising because they are kind of fluorescent and luminous and a bit kind of wild. But this is the Subaru Impreza, fully tampoed up, and I do like the choice of tampos, and it really does set off nicely against that white background provided by the, again, luminous base and luminous wheels. They're going to be interesting to photograph actually. My mate Mr. Grooves had to photograph these for, I think for Majorette. I'm not sure of the results either, so we hope to see those one day on the Majorette Instagram page, but till now I'm going to do my best to try and catch that. I really like that. I do actually have another version of this. We have the police version, which I do like, and also the original blue version, and of course it was available with rally colours as well, which I do not have, but that's as close as, you know, they're not bad, are they? Well, when I showed them to her, she just really wanted to get her hands on them, so I will be letting her play with them, I'm sure, at some point. Finally, a cactus. Oh, look at that. It says Citra on the roof. That is nice, actually. This one seems to have a luminous interior and luminous wheels. So let's compare it to the old cactus. Nice. Yeah, I think this cactus has been out in a few variations as well, but that's the only one I have, which is a sort of green version, very similar to the yellow version. Not bad at all. Hold on, before we go. Boop, boop. There you go. You can actually see them inside. There we go. So yeah, basically it's all the same tempo. Oh, yep, all the same. Go. Oh, there's some classics in there. Let's get them out. First up, let's get this GTR out. Whoa. Blimey, this one seems to have a bit of chrome on the wheels. So here we go. Not my favourite paint job, actually. I mean, it is kind of blaring and glaring and getting on with that luminous thing. It's got a luminous interior by the looks of things. Luminous wheels. A black base. And of course this has been out before. Here's a previous incarnation of the limited edition. Now, as far as I know, this car is going to be replaced pretty soon with an updated version. This is the original version in white from the premium series. It's the first one I saw anyway. And they also came out as police cars. Nice. There's a Dubai police car. Very, very cool. Yeah, this looks like it's not the police car moulding as well, judging by the lack of holes on the roof, unlike this one. Boo. Done up as a race car. Well, they're all kind of racy, aren't they? Emphasizing speed and light, I should imagine. Of course, this is the Mercedes AMG GT. Wow, it's got luminous wheels and a luminous interior, presumably. And we've seen this before in the the range. This was the previous limited edition model in Spectra Flame Red. Very nice metallic red. Here's a racing car version, again #1. Who would have thought it? Practically the same graphics, actually. Well, obviously with the color change. Interesting. And there's a police car version. Ooh, nice. Polizei. Good to have a little bit of international policing. And finally, the original premium model. Wow, cool. Honda, check it out. Whoa, that's nice. This one has the lifting boot. So all these cars from this second 3-pack all had luminous interiors by the looks of things. Luminous wheels. Of course, we've seen this car once before. It was out in the premium range and also was in the budget range, if you were lucky enough to catch one at Morrison's back in the pound days. Very nice. Highly desirable little model, this one, and actually looks really good in the two-tone red and white Honda paint. Looks like a little racing car, doesn't it? Looks really, really cool. I like it a lot. Interesting. Oh, there we go. Very nice. So we got the rear end graphics. It's all the same. Very nice. Great stuff. And there we have the luminous range.
Is a Vanguards Triumph Dolomite, and it's 143 scale or thereabouts. I picked this up at a market yesterday and it cost me £4, which I think was probably a mistake on the seller's part, really, because he'd grouped it in with a lot of loose Lledo Days Gone and treated it all the same. So I paid my money and moved quickly away before he changed his mind. But there's nothing deceptive about that. I just think I got quite a good deal, basically because it's in extremely good condition. It is missing its wing wipers blades, which are always a problem with these Lledos, Vanguards. I don't know why they bothered doing it. It was a clever idea, but they break. One was missing already, the other one was bent, so I just pulled the other one out. It didn't have its wing mirrors, but I can probably sort that out. I've got some spare ones. They always come with a packet of wing mirrors. I don't always fit them on. Been a while since I bought a Vanguards new, actually. I used to buy a lot of them back in the day, in the early 2000s. This model suffers a little bit from some scaling issues. The wheels, I think, are a little bit on the small side. The hubcaps are rather quaint, for want of a better word. It was an attempt to try and replicate this particular style of wheel. Clever use of a cap over the fixing point rivet with a plastic cap to imitate a spare wheel cover. See, there we go, Lledo, as it was, Lledo, because it's an old Lledo casting. And some dual effect lamps, which are, again, scaling issues are out. The number plate style's quite good. But I mean, I suppose it's just showing its age, really. We expect a bit more from models, perhaps, these days. But not bad. I mean, there's no damage. A little bits of shine on the roof, that's to be expected. But overall, a bit of a bargain. So there you go.
Welcome to a new segment that I'm going to do for a few weeks. This is going to be all about Corgi through the ages. I'm going to start off at the beginning as best as I can and work my way through to the modern age. Now, this first row that you can see in front of you, this is all Huskies. And these Huskies were only available in Woolworths. And they were produced roughly from around about 1962 or thereabouts, probably slightly later, till around about 1967, 68. Eventually, the Husky license was lost by Woolworths, and the Metoy company that owned the Husky cars changed the name to Corgi. Obviously, Corgi being a slightly smaller dog, and the little cars fitting into that category rather nicely. Now, the first thing that Corgi did was to produce a new wheel, and this was in line with the current trend from Hot Wheels. They produced a new car in 1967 and were very quickly followed by Superfast from Matchbox and from the Whiz Wheels by Corgi. Now, the Corgi team decided to build a whole new car, and it was the Rocket. And the Rocket was supposed to be super fast, had its own tracks, its own wheels, and its own special system. And these cars, unfortunately, only lasted for about a year or so before Mattel got very upset and decided to take them to court. And unfortunately, the Rocket people lost their license to produce the Rockets because they were too close to being a Hot Wheel, and just continued the production of Whiz Wheels instead, which is an even closer name to Hot Wheels if you think about it. So a lot of the cars from the Husky days right through the Rocket days and into the Whiz Wheel days kind of survived. We'll have a look at some of those as we go through them. But for now, I'm just going to do this overview so you get a good idea of the sort of cars that were produced. You'll also notice that there is no buses or taxis or military vehicles in this particular selection of videos, because I will be covering those in later videos. Now, the Corgi had different film licenses. They used them to produce all sorts of cars. They had different car company licenses. You can see there's some quite interesting cars there. There's some interesting carryovers, and there's a period that you can see here where they were being still produced in England, where things started to get a little bit cheaper. And this resulted in plastic bases. And the bases on the cars start to say Corgi Juniors. Now, I'm not sure when the Corgi Junior brand started along, but I would guess in the mid-70s, around about 1978, when prices of production started to increase and things started to get a little bit cheaper. Eventually, production moved to China around about 1986, around about the same sort of time that Matchbox shifted their production to China. The Corgi name just became Corgi around about this time, so you can kind of spot them when you flip the bases from Corgi Junior into just plain old Corgi. Eventually, with productions, sales I guess, going down worldwide, Corgi production started to cease, and Metoy as a company started to fail, and they were eventually bought up by Mattel, who did actually keep some of the old Corgi castings and produced them in their own Hot Wheel range. The Corgi brand, however, as a name, was kept by someone, the current owners, I guess, and they still produce cars to this day. They started production around about 2000. A lot of the castings were shipped off to different companies, Playing Mantis and Real Toy, to name but a few. But there's also some home brand Corgi models there that I don't really know who makes them, but they're good quality. They kept the Corgi guarantee for life scenario. And basically we're going to have a little look at various cars, various time periods as we go. So I hope you enjoy the upcoming segments, and I'll do my best to share as much of my knowledge of these cars as possible, and perhaps we can learn something together.
Well, doesn't this look rather, well, knackered? This is, obviously, you don't need to know what this is. We know what it is. It's a Lamborghini Countach, its pronunciation, and it's made by Majorette. Look at that. I actually managed to make a transition without having to do this. Flipped it over. There we go. It just says Lamborghini on the back, and the scale is 156, and it's number 237, and it's made in France. Metal base, metal top, plastic interior, plastic wheels. I picked this up for what would be equivalent of about £1.70, because I bought it on a deal for 3 cars in a market stall near where I work in London at lunchtime. So it is a model that I have never actually had before. I've got plenty of models of Countachs, but not the Majorette one. It's a better rendition than what Matchbox managed to do on their first attempt, and I have discussed that before in a previous video that K5 did. It is lacking in certain areas, like those windows are not as good as they could be, but I think that's to do with casting issues. But it's not bad in terms of its overall dimensions and the way that it sits. So it sits quite nicely, actually. And they haven't gone for the let's make one massive wheel at the back and a small wheel at the front. They've kept the same size. Suspension is nothing, but you've got some quite good detailing at the back there. It looks like someone has actually taken a can of primer spray to this. I've tried to take it off, but it's not going to happen. I'm going to strip this, and I'm probably going to spray it an exotic colour, but more in suiting with Lamborghini. One thing that I'm trying to work out here is exactly which version of the Countach this is. And I think it's the LP500S, but without the aerofoil on the back. But it's hard to tell really what they were attempting here, because it's got all the aerodynamics on the front, but it hasn't got the wing on the back. I think in a later version they did stick a plastic wing on the back. So I have a feeling that perhaps in its casting history that they were perhaps going to do an LP400, which was the first version of the Countach to come out, give it its proper serial name, because it wasn't called the Countach to start off with, I don't believe. And perhaps they decided to cast it with an air dam on the front, because the LP400 didn't have the dam. It was just smooth at the bottom. Anyway, you can look at all that online. So, shame that it's got a blue tinted screen and not clear, but we can overlook that. Nice wheels actually. Nice when you see them and you can see the detail, because these wheels are normally just black with a silver rim. So you get to see exactly what's actually in there. But I should be able to do a sort of renovate on this and make it half decent. The radiator cooling pads at the back there have been done in the same plastic as the interior. We're missing a window space here, but I think that's again casting issues. And unfortunately it suffers from slab-sidedness, because that lower sill bit, can't really point it there, should actually go in. But this is to do with casting issues, because if you try and cast with a sort of a curve going in, can't really demonstrate that easily. But basically, if it was to sort of go round and underneath as it should do on the real car, then it's not easy to extract from the die casting machinery at that time. I think it's different now, perhaps, but it's not bad. It's, it's okay. Always remember this one. It is in fact actually a children's toy, and not supposed to be a sort of model as such. Alright, so we need to forgive its inaccuracies, but I think it's captured the spirit and essence of the car very well, and it sits nicely. And I think that when I get around to doing the renovation on this, it should look pretty good. Or maybe some of you think that it looks already quite good, he said, garbling his words. Some people like the sort of crazy distressed look, but this is beyond distress. It's I think it's actually feeling quite unhappy. It's distressed. I think it's more like it's depressed. Anyway, we will sort this out in due course. One of the problems I've got at the moment, it being the early part of February, is that the conditions aren't well suited to doing spraying work, the paint spraying, because of the temperature and the humidity in the air. But we shall skim over those technical details, and I shall do a helicopter shot away.
Welcome everybody to the final part of Lledo is Odell backwards, and in this episode I'm just going to do a little roundup and show you some of the models I've collected over the years that are Lledo related, and those that probably you think might not be. So we'll just go straight back to the first generation of the Moco models of the yesteryear period. These are all pre-1950, 60 I would say. So that's a 1958 piece, 57, 58, again with this piece. And so it's like, well, this is the high tech of the day. Mushrooms on both ends of the wheels. And of course you've got the much more famous models from the yesteryear range of these kind of classic racing cars. Here's the Bentley. That was an excellent episode, Mark, by the way. So this is the Bentley Y1, or number 5 from the first series. And here's number 5 from the second series. And wow, what an upgrade. And I've got a Bugatti. Wow, I do like that Bugatti. Wouldn't mind it in blue, mind you. The red one is slightly later. And here's what Mark was talking about way back in the early days. Was something that has been cast into something that goes on the top of a cigarette box. Fantastic. A Thomas Flyabout from 1909. Kind of looks like a Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow or something, doesn't it? All those cars look very similar back then. Right, here's a old Lledo that I had. Picked this one up, a long time ago now, long time. I got it, not for me actually, I got it to send to somebody. But I do like it. I think it's a Packard of some sort. It doesn't say. It's from the early days of Lledo, from the Days Gone period. Printed rear cab, solid metal, plastic basis. I was actually maybe a slightly later Lledo. Has got rubberized or plasticized wheels, polythene. Loving the choice of colour there. So it's sort of an early ambulance proof from around about 1919 or thereabouts. Does it say on the box? Not a lot on the box. That shows you the range. Well, I've got that one. Because I've got a few of these that I haven't shown you because we don't need to show you. That's from 1986, so that's pretty early. 1986, that's about a couple of years into the Lledo production. Apart from Vanguard, which Lledo founded, they also founded this range of vehicles, American Highway Legends in 164. I've got a couple here. I think, if I remember rightly, these you sent off for them back in the day. These are from the early 2000s or late 1990s. Not a lot of information on there, but the castings are made in China or even possibly in America by Hartoy. And Hartoy was like an American extension of the Lledo brand. And as you can see from the construction, there's a lot of generic parts. The wheels and the back piece are very generic. But there is a lot of construction similarities here. Makes me wonder if this Packard ambulance is probably 164. I wouldn't like to bet on it. But these lorries are certainly 164. And the Hartoy range went off to continue its production in America. And make their own castings. So in a way, the legacy of Lledo continues through Hartoy and through the Corgi Vanguard range. Now, talking of the Corgi Lledos, got one more thing to show you, and it's a demonstration of why Lledo is worthless. Look at this. Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth's Queen Mother commemorative set by Lledo. If you look around the box, it tells you straight away that this is the Leicester period, which was when it was owned by Corgi. 2002, Lledo Collectibles. Now I couldn't, the guy who sold this to me was so pleased that I bought it. I bought it because I was doing this series with Mark. We'll quickly have a look and see what is in the box. Gasp, look at that. This is a numbered set. All of it is in a silk or faux silk kind of lining. There is some history to be read with it. If you look inside the box there, it tells you all about the cars. So we'll start from the very beginning. And probably my favourite piece out of all of them is this, dated from 1900, August the 4th. And if you look on the back here, it will tell you all about August the 4th, 1900. That was the birth of the Queen Mother. So this commemorates the birth. It's a very nice piece. It's an older Lledo piece. It's got a metal base. Mostly metal parts, I believe. I think this is a plastic part on the front here. I don't know. It could be metal. That's metal. There you go. Plastic seats, of course. So there we go. That's the first one. Quite nice. It's got a Rolls-Royce logo on the front there. This is the best one, I think, out of the lot. Then we'll move on to this one here, which is from 1923. What about this one? Oh yeah, right. Okay, so 1923, August 26th, it says down here, something to do with her father was Rolls-Royce, Lady Elizabeth Brown's marriage on the 26th of April 1923 to His Royal Highness Duke of York. And of course Duke of York became the King of England. I'm guessing this is some kind of landau, probably a Rolls-Royce Landau of some sort. Lots of plastic on this one. It's got that 80s base on it. Probably made in China. Here's the Leicester address. Just compare that to the one that we know is probably made in the UK. Made in England. Leicester. So that'd be made in China. Very nice. All these are gold or fake gold plated. Right, so we've got 1937. This is a lovely old piece. Now this is done up as a Rolls Royce, as you can see by the front there. Although it doesn't say RR. But this is from back in the day when the Silver Ghost, I believe it's a Silver Shadow or Silver Cloud. And this is the Queen's Consort. It's to celebrate the coronation on the 12th of May 1937 of... Oh, here we go. That was when the Queen Mother was made the Royal Consort. That is, the Duke of York was crowned. Interesting. Now I would have put this one here. Boom, for two. But anyway, this is what they've done. And there you go. This is nice. It's all metal. Plastic, of course, up front. Plastic underneath. Separate tyres. Well, they've all got separate tyres. So that's that. And finally, 2002. I believe that's when Queen Mother popped her clogs, bless her. And actually, this is a really nice little piece as well. There we go. It's even got an interior. Lovely, lovely old car that. And this is called a Rolls-Royce D back. Simply marks the years of Her Majesty's long and notable life. There you go.
Countach, or to give it its proper name, the LP 500 or LP 400. I can never sure where the change took place, but I think it's the LP 500. Anyway, I have 3 different models by 3 different manufacturers, and they all originate from the 1980s-ish. So I will cover one at a time, and I'm going to start with this one first by Matchbox. This actual model is one that K5 sent to me. Oh gosh, must have been towards the end of summer last year, and I never got round to opening it out of the box. Yes, it's never been out of its box. So this is quite a late issue one from the Tyco era, I think. Still says Matchbox International and a copyright of 1985. LP 500S, which means it's the sort of sporty version with all the spoilers and skirts and stuff, which I think spoilt the essential design of the Countach, but never mind. As you can see, it's got all the graphics splat all over it. They've used white on the intake, the NACA intake on the side, the NACA intake, and you've got the Lamborghini Bull on the side, and the Countach script, which is the proper script that was used on the back of the car. A white interior, and they've whited out these vent bits at the back where the engine bay is. One thing that strikes you with this white interior, allows you to see the seat pattern, which is again correct. The steering wheel's a little bit close to the side of the car, but a thing to say about this Matchbox is that it corrected their previous attempt at the Countach, which was based on the prototype LP400, which was a terrible model. I've said it before, and I was going to put it in this video, but I thought I'd best not really. It would spoil it. The only thing this model is really missing is the window bars, which would break up the pattern. But you know, if you wanted to be a purist, you could always do a conversion and put those in. The other thing to say is with these terrible Tyco wheels, which always remind me of segments of orange, and now that I've said that, now you'll never look at them the same. And this horrible gold finish, it is typical 90s, I don't know, just getting it all wrong, but you know, it displays its time period. The other thing is it rides quite high at the back, and that I think is how it was when it first came out in 85 with different wheels. I've now got 4 versions of this particular model. from not having any at all this time last year, I've now got 4. So I've got one that's got the laser disc wheels as well. So yes, a model that could be improved with a little bit of detailing, but I'm not going to do it to one that's factory fresh and out of the box. So there's that one, and thank you to K5 for giving it to me. And then we've got this one here by Hot Wheels. And this Hot Wheels model came out, it's copyrighted as 1987. This is from the recent reissue done on the Lamborghini series. It's the only one out of the set they did that has got a die-cast base. These aren't the original wheels, although they are the real rider wheels. So they came off another car, but I put them on because they did a better job than what was on there originally, which were, well, I'm sure you've seen it. I've also done some detailing on the intakes and the extraction bits and the knacker ducts, just to make it a bit better. I think I've also painted in the indicators at the back. Yeah, one thing that strikes me with this model is that they put these little circular bits, which I think is actually true to the design. It's strengthening for what is a tubular frame car, I believe. That is a seagull going past. I am in central London, but it is in fact a seagull. Got the windows open. Late February, and we've got a bit of a hot spell. Winter in London, and we've got the windows open. So yes, let's talk about the model, not London. And I think quite a successful model, and probably the best out of the 3 here in terms of capturing the look and the feel of the car. And they managed to get the bars on the windows as well, which breaks up the lines. It's a periscope one, which means it's got the rear space for the periscope vision. So it's based really, I think, probably on one of the first LP500Ss, maybe the Walter Wolf car, if you know what that is, which was the first example of the skirted Lamborghini Countach. We'll finish with this, which is a majorette model, which I have shown in the previous video. I got it from Market Stall, and it was covered in primer paint over the original red paint. I stripped all that off, resprayed it this lime colour, and I had to paint in the wheels. As you can see, I had to paint in the wheels because they were covered in primer as well. So yeah, I would take this to pieces, but it's a bit of a chore when you're doing it one-handed. So there's some detailing work to be done. I think they capture the model quite well. The side windows, not so well, but it's broad enough. It compares quite nice when you put them all together. So you have 3 different manufacturers, all from the 1980s, mid to late 80s, with all their own take on the car, this iconic car. Basically, if you were doing die-cast models in the 1980s, if you didn't have a Lamborghini Countach, then you were letting the side down. Everybody had a crack at it, and some got it better than others. And I think the winner on this occasion, yeah, I don't know. It's one of these two. One wins where another one loses, but I think all in all, probably on this occasion, it is the Hot Wheels. So a big round of applause to the Yanks there, and unfortunately the Brits and the French missed out on this occasion.
I feel like it's been a long time since we had a proper GTR video with the new GTR models, and I happen to have 3 new models that I would like to share with you, starting with the Tomica. Here we have the Nissan GTR Nismo GT500. It's a new model for 2018, I think, and it's a mainline Tomica, nothing fancy about it. It's not part of the premium line or even a TLV or a special event. No, it's just a normal release. Interesting. So this one comes with this little bit of cardboard to protect the wing. That's nice. And there it is. Oh, it has opening doors. I wasn't expecting that. Okay, so let's have a quick look around this model, all in black, and it comes with stickers, very tiny stickers that you can put all around, so it will look more like this on the box. It's not the first time they do a GT500. but the previous version that actually I showed up in a video collab I did with K5 like 2 or 3 years ago, had a problem with the stance. It was way too high. This one seems to have corrected that problem, but as per usual with Tomica, the wheels leave a lot to be desired. But other than that, very nicely done. The amount of detail everywhere is pretty neat. Painted taillights, painted headlights, opening doors, even the inside has details with the not a roll cage, but bucket seat on one side. It doesn't have suspension though, and is this plastic? It's flexible, so it is plastic. So yeah, I like it a lot. Very nice. If I just swap the wheels for something more like this, bigger, better, and it will look awesome. So this is the first one. The second one is from Tarmac Works, and that's another race version of the GTR. There will be no regular GTR in this video, just so you know, as part of the OB64 line. This one is a GT3 Nismo from the Blancpain Endurance series from 2015 with the names of the drivers Sanchez, Paletou and Tinknell. And let's have a look inside. Oh, tightly shut. There you go. So as usual with Tarmac Works, it comes with a very nice base here. And let's have a look at the details on this model. Wow, okay, now that's neat. They have released a few variations of this car already with different color schemes, one of them being the PlayStation one that I really like. But I opted for this one for two reasons. One was that, well, it was on sale. And the second one is that those are the iconic Nissan racing colors. So it would go very well with the other two Nissan racing cars I have, both LMP1. Okay, look at this. Very, very nice. And I also like that the mirrors are painted on this side. They're not rubber. Some Tarmac Works car have rubber side mirrors, but this one isn't. Very, very cool. The amount of detail on these is very, very high. Oh, you can also see the disc brakes here. So I don't know if this is a roller. I'm not going to take it out of the base at the moment, but for sure it's a nice car. And last but not least, from Mini GT, we have a Liberty Walk GTR in matte white. Mini GT, I don't have, they're the newcomers on the 164 market. So box, protective plastic inside, that's a very nice touch. Newcomers, not many casting really so far, but very high quality. So far I only have the McLaren Senna in two colors, and this is my second model, and it's very, very nice. Very, very, very nicely done. It has a good weight to it because the base is metal, everything is metal. The wheels, very deep dish. Oh, those are rubber, so that will probably make them less susceptible to being broken or falling off. Details on the back. Rear window. Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, the inside, can we see? It seems to be one color, no painted details in the inside. We could check, see, because one thing I like about Mini GT models is that the base is screwed, so you can open it and add the details if you want to, or if you want to check how it's done. Anyway, here it is, very cool. Let me check the size, because at first sight this one looked kind of big, but no, it seems to be the same, 164. We have to remember that the GTR is a very big car. This one is said to be 165, so that's why it's a little bit smaller. So there you have it, 3 new GTRs added to the collection. I hope you like it. I personally, I don't have a favorite actually, because they all look awesome and they all are doing something great in their price range. Just to give you an idea, this is the cheapest one, then comes the Mini GT, and then the top is this one. This is around $10. This one is around 19, but I got it for 14. And this one, I don't know the US price here. You can find it around 80,000 Vietnamese currency. So I think it's $2 or $3. So there you have it, K5. What do you think? Is there a favorite for you? Anything that you would be tempted to have? Maybe this one, closer to a regular release. It feels a lot like the TLV versions. It has this weight and quality to it at a fraction of the price. Tata for now. Bye.